Today is Wednesday, September 23rd, 2015, and today's rant will be on the Peshmerga, the YPG, in Syria. Now, I haven't talked about Daesh or ISIL or as ISIS, which started out as Baathists, then became Al-Qaeda, then became ISIL, so to speak. And what's going on is another new convergence of players. One new convergence of players, which is going to wreck everything that's going on. Now, I want to comment on one thing. Now, we know that Syria, with the exodus of people from Syria, they're not going to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not taking them in. They're not going to Qatar. They're not going to, the other two or three, UAE. They're not going to Kuwait. Okay, whoops, and. That's just the way it is. So that's why they're heading towards the west. That's why they're heading through Turkey into the European countries and also on the Mediterranean Sea. So what is being done in reference to ISIL? Now, we know, or I know, that it is impossible to just bomb the crap out of ISIL and then let whatever happen. It can't happen, because whenever you are in a war, you have to take the geography. You have to own the geography, and there's no one there that can own the geography outside of, right now, in Syria, the Peshmerga or the YPG. Now, we have a confluence of things there, because the YPG is supported by Iran in Syria, but they're mistrusted by Turkey. Turkey being obviously our bigger ally, and obviously Iran being our foe. Now, the Peshmerga want to go after Aleppo, A-L-P-P-O or A-P-P-L-O, in Syria. It is a strategic city for them to take. They're still months away from doing it. Now, the United States has not armed the Kurds as much as the Kurds would like. The YPG, remember, Kurds occupy land in Syria, in Turkey, in Iran, and in Iraq. Now, there's a no man's land in Syria, well, not no man's land. ISIL has taken over what was no man's land in Syria and in, let's say, the Fertile Crescent in Iraq. And I do believe that it takes up a territory about half the size of Texas, a very large territory. Now, the Iraqi army, even with the paramilitary from Iran, aren't going after Mosul. And there's one or two other cities there. What was it? Was it Fallujah or Rahaji? They're not going after them because they still need to soften it up before they make an invasion, and they need to have the ground forces that can be there to make an invasion, and then once they take the city, they have to have the forces to maintain order in the city and to fight off any possible future attack by ISIL or Daesh. So there's a very, very multi-pronged thing that's going on by a lot of players that don't normally play together. Now, the big player that's shown up in the last couple of weeks has been Russia. Russia has been occupying, are looking to expand an airfield that they have in Syria, and they're looking to bring in a lot of stuff in a port in Syria. My understanding that they're bringing in men and they're bringing in tanks. And they're basically saying, hey, guess what? We're going to help you get rid of ISIL. But there's a price that you have to pay. And that price is Assad gets to stay. See, it's a big price that has to be paid. Now, this civil war is going on in its fourth year. I believe that over 250,000 people have already been killed. Possibly up to a quarter to a half of the population has fled. The PTSD that's going around there is going to be unbelievable. But the thing is, what can be done to clear this up so that people can come back to Syria and live a life? There is no opposition to Assad that can take over the entire country and run it. And that includes ISIL. We wouldn't let them in. But all of the other let's just say, rebellious forces, they don't have enough to run the country. So we are in a cluster in there, and now that Russia is in there, they've cluster effed it up even more. But the thing is, can there possibly be peace with Russia as a part of the mix? Now, Israel has already gone to Russia and said, hey, we're concerned about this because we don't want to accidentally shoot down any of your planes. We don't want to accidentally bomb some area in yours if Assad starts bombing us. So they want to sort of make peace with this whole thing. They're not taking refugees. And the United States, is now talking to Russia about what's going on there. Now, again, Russia's not a great player. They might be a little bit better than Iran, but, they're going to look for every opportunity that they can to muck up the works. And Putin seems to be very safe in power there, and he will continue to do whatever he feels like doing. And the cost of it is not that great a cost, because the cost to him is the enhanced prestige and power of Mother Russia, which is what he's going for. So we have more and more stuff going on over there. There hasn't been talked about because ISIL hasn't been attacking too many places. There hasn't been any ISIL territory things that have been overrun. The Peshmerga needs more weapons. The United States now is willing to arm additional Syrians without checking their backgrounds on all of it, just so that they can continue in the civil war with Assad. The Russians come in saying, we're going to defend Assad. We're going to get rid of Iran, for you. So, and of course, the Peshmerga, the YPG, the Kurds, they're mistrusted by Turkey. So there's a lot going on there, and I could go on for another 10 minutes. But the thing is, can the additional player Russia help bring some type of peace? Can there be peace with Assad? Can there be peace without Assad? That's the big thing they have to decide. And then after all that's done, will Saudi Arabia step up with the humanitarian aid that's necessary? Will Qatar, will UAE, will Kuwait, will any of those other Arab countries step up and help out? I don't think so. But I don't think Russia will help out that much either. And a lot of these people that are leaving Syria, they're never going to go back. So we better be prepared for a long haul on this thing. And anyone on the right wing, on Fox News, Billy O'Reilly, anyone to suggest that we can send in a couple thousand troops and get this all over with, is loony.